Greetings, Mechwarrior! Are you a beginner player? Are you just exploring the sheer variety and insane firepower and speed that heavy mechs can bring to pass upon the enemy? And are you wondering which are good beginner builds and which are good beginner skill sets that you could use to use them for the maximum efficiency? Well, go no further because this is TTB's beginner guide for heavy mechs. Stay tuned. We're gonna go over builds. We're gonna go about the best choices that you can make here for beginner heavy mechs. And of course, we're gonna show some gameplay as well, teaching you how to use them on the battlefield. Let's go. First things first though, let's go quickly over the criteria for beginner mechs that I think are very, very important. They need to have good armor, preferably a one-button weapon system or one-button weapon systems, a good peaking profile. The mech needs to be not too fast, which of course is not a problem anymore with heavy mechs. No toggle mask or anything like that. Needs to have ECM if possible, good range, and good heat management. And looking at all of these, well, there's one thing that really stands out in most of these points, and that is, and you experienced guys have already guessed it, the Hellbringer. The Hellbringer is one hell of a machine, pun intended, and it is very versatile, really, really good, and I would consider this to be the best mech that I would give any beginner player in this game, because it's going to teach you how to play properly, how to aim properly, while keeping you relatively safe and fast to be able to keep up with the team. So, let's look into the Hellbringer build here, and I'm using the Hellbringer Virago here, that's the Hellbringer Hero mech, but you can literally just use any chassis, because this is an Omni mech, and you can just mix and match Omnipods. That means you go over into the mech lab, you go to the loadout screen, and you can just choose client Omnipods and just basically, like Lego, put in different Omnipods that might have different weapon systems. What you definitely need here, guys, is the Hellbringer Prime left torso, because it's coming with that orange hardpoint, and that's an ECM hardpoint. This is a must-have, and you can easily buy that. Let's say you bought the Hellbringer Bravo, for example, and you don't have the torso, you just go to the loadout screen and you just scroll to the left torso and you just drag in the Hellbringer Prime left torso. It's going to cost you 320,000 credits. It's not that much, definitely a good investment. Now, the build we're playing here is a full-on laser vomit build, but it's tuned down a little bit. If I were to play this, I would be playing it not only with ER medium lasers, but with heavy large lasers. Heavy large lasers have a little bit less range than the ER large lasers I'm proposing here, and do more damage, but they're also a little bit hotter. If you combine or compare these, for example, there's here, ER large laser, one shot gives us a heat of 11.8, and the heavy large laser clocks in at 16, so considerably hotter and therefore a little bit harder to play for a beginner player, in my opinion. Also, the burn duration here is 1.55, the ER large laser is 1.35, so you also have a shorter burn duration on the ER larges, and they will sync up better with the ER mediums that way. So that's my reasoning for going ER large lasers here. 2 ER large lasers, one in the cockpit, one in the right torso, and 4 ER medium lasers that are in the left torso and one in the right torso. Then we fill up the rest with double heat sinks. We armor up the right arm fully, because in the right arm we are going to bank 2 more clan double heat sinks. The left arm is basically just there for show. It has 5 armor on there. Well, if it falls off, it's alright. It's basically a little bit of a shield arm here. And then once this arm falls off, or this side is getting too much damage, then of course we shield with the other side of our mech. Okay. The speed is going to be 81 kph. You're going to have ECM. Your firepower alpha strike will be about 47.5, which isn't too bad. I mean, you alpha twice and you almost have 100 damage. And the heat management, I mean, on paper it says 1.54, but you'll find out that the heat management is quite solid. Let's take this thing to the testing grounds on Caustic Valley, and I'll show you how to shoot this thing. Alright guys, here is the skill tree I am proposing for the Hellbringer, and by the way guys, all the build codes, the export codes for the builds, as well as the export codes for the skills are down in the video description in the paste bin link. You just copy the link and you just go over to, let's say, your skill tree, you go to import, you paste the link that the code that you got, and you will have your skill tree build. Very, very simple. Of course, you still have to rank up all the XP to get it done, but at least you'll be able to import it to see how it looks like when it's done. Alright, so for this build, we're going into the firepower tree and we're taking 4 laser duration nodes, all 4 laser duration nodes, to make sure that our lasers, which are our main weapon, are having the least amount of duration possible. That means they have the least amount of burn time possible. Less burn time means less time that we need to be exposed and less time we need to stare at the enemy. Once we've shot, as always, if you can, try and twist away. Make sure you're not full on staring at the enemy, especially if that enemy is shooting back to you. You want to make sure that you are spreading the damage over your mech and use all your mech's components and all your mech's parts to soak up some damage. Okay, we're also taking a lot of the heat gen nodes down here so that we are running a little bit cooler in our mech. On the survivor side, we just need the left side, so we take all the armor hardening nodes on the left side, and we take this one skeletal density node here as well, because, yeah, just because we can take it. We don't need anything in mobility, nothing in jump jets, full operations tree with cool run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as well as heat containment 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That means that this mech will be able to have a bigger amount of heat that it can generate before it reaches 100% and shuts down. And also the heat dissipation from our heat sinks will be a little bit better as well. Now we get to the sensors tree. Remember what I always say, guys, if you have ECM, you need to invest in the sensors tree. Enhanced ECM 1 and 2 are fairly deep down in the sensors tree. They are a must-have for any ECM mech. If you're running ECM without this skill tree, your mech is basically worthless. Your ACM range is going to be, I don't know, like 400, 300 meters. Like, people will be able to see you from ridiculously far away on the radar. So, must have. And since we're that deep into the tree, we also take full radar deprivation and full seismic sensors. Seismic sensors, as you know, when you're standing still and enemies move around the area, you will see them on your radar as little red dots. That's a nice pre-warning system for enemies that, for example, are using stealth, or people that are behind walls, or you are on the platform and they are down below, for example, on HPG Manifold. Really, really good to be able to tell where the enemy is. And of course, radar deprivation. Basically, as soon as the enemy loses line of sight with you, you'll still be locked on their radar for a bit of time, and they can still learn you. But with radar deprivation, that time gets lessened, and the missiles have a good chance of losing their lock and not hitting you. Okay, last but not least, auxiliary tree. We go with double cool shot and cool shot cooldown, and we're also, of course, sporting one artillery strike for crowd control. And that's the skill build for this mech, guys. Alright guys, here we are on Caustic Valley. You know that this is my favorite testing map because it's quite hot and it loads quite easily. And it has some mechs right around the corner from where you start. Now, the first thing is, you gotta decide, do you want to have arm lock on, like so, or do you want to have arm lock off and twist a little bit further with less mouse movement? You're going to be aiming with the big reticule anyways. Yeah, you're aiming with the big reticule, not with the small arm reticule, because there are no weapons in the arms. So for beginner players, it might be more helpful to just have arm lock on, then you just have one crosshair, you just bring it over your target, and you let them have it. I'm proposing you have 3 weapon firing groups. One group for the ER medium lasers, one group for the ER large lasers, and then one group that just goes ahead and just chain fires everything. So you press it, or you just keep the mouse button down. This is for when you are too hot, and if you're not sure whether you can fire a full volley, you can just go ahead and gradually shoot those lasers. As you're seeing right here, I'm just pressing down the button right now, and it's barely increasing my heat at all until it comes to the ER large lasers, and it's jumping up a little bit. But the ER mediums are basically heat neutral if you shoot them in chain fire like this. Of course, you shouldn't be doing this over a longer period of time. My recommendation is, if your heat's too high, just go ahead, cool down, and then give him a volley, because the power of this mech is this. Let's say, again, this is an unsuspecting assault mech, he's fighting against your teammates or whatnot, or he's not even looking your way. You are behind cover, or you are somewhere off in the distance, you have your ECM, nobody knows that you're here, you come around the corner, you see this guy, you go for a side torso or for a CT depending on the target information that you have, give him a full volley, and you retreat back to cover. You've just dealt crippling amount of damage to an enemy mech, and he hasn't been able to deal you any damage in return. And then, look at that, how fast we're cooled down. We're coming up again. Again, we go on the side torso, the same target as before, one more volley, and back to cover. This side torso now is ready to fall off. Here, watch this. I'm just gonna go around the corner here and just gonna give it one medium laser. Boom. Well, of course, this isn't a front armor-loaded assault mech, so you will have to go with 3 or 4 full volleys. But the same mechanics hold true every time. Pick a component and then try and focus on that component if you can. Of course, your enemies won't be standing still, right? But the same logic applies. You come out behind cover, give them a volley, twist away, and get the hell out of dodge. And you can do this quite often, and if you rinse and repeat this, you can have some really good games with damage numbers 700, 800, 900, even 1000 or more is possible depending on how long the game goes. Alright, let's look at heat management. As I said, this is a hot map, but with the skill set I'm proposing and the equipment that we're having in this mech, that's 1 alpha, and we're cooling down, and we're cooling down, and we're cooling down. That's 2nd alpha, and that Centurion is dead, and we are still only at okayish heat and at 35 around. We could have even alpha again. So we can do 3 alphas back to back with this build on Caustic Valley. That is some good heat management. Look at how fast it's dissipating. Again, guys, it's good heat management. Yeah, it's a huge alpha in terms of heat, but hey, it dissipates quickly and you are hidden from the enemy while you're doing so. And the good thing also about this mech is the height of the hardpoints. I mean, your large lasers, one is in the cockpit or above the cockpit even, so you can literally try and shoot above ledges here. Let's see if we can find a good ledge that we can showcase this with. So let's say, for example, with a normal mech, with arm mounts, you could never shoot this guy from this position, right? I'm gonna try and shoot him. I'm not sure if I'm gonna hit with my mediums because they might get caught here in the foliage or in that coolant tower, whatever it is. But we'll try. So again, with a normal left arm mounted weapon, no chance of hitting this shot. But with these hard points, at least one side of our mech shot through. The other ones unfortunately got caught up here in the part of the foliage. Okay, let's try this again. Maybe with something that's a little bit more clear cut as a border. So one example of where this mech also shines is peeking above hills. Again, if you have lower weapons or whatnot, you have no chance of hitting this guy right now. I'm just trying to find a very low angle right here. That should be low enough. A little bit higher. Yeah, so this seems a good angle right here to take. And we shoot him. As you can see, almost all our weapons hit. A little bit higher like this and everything would have hit. There. Heat level easy. Critical. And we've just exposed basically our mech up to, well, how much is that? Let's find out. Let's go to the perspective for the other guy. Let's see what he sees. Oops. This is all he sees. You see that? That little thing in the middle right here that just shows you a little bit of a cockpit? That's all he sees. And now I'm gonna show you how this mech looks like when it was fully exposed. I'm just gonna move the mech forward. Look how big this thing all of a sudden gets. So, I think I made my point. This has a really good peaking profile, and there I go into infinity and beyond, and apparently into a wall. Well, there we go. Let's take this thing into a dropship and see how it performs later, but for now, let's get into some more builds that you can do. Alright guys, now let's say you don't like lasers, you want to go into Dakar. Well, there's 2 Dakar options I'm going to show you. One is the Marauder 3R on the inner sphere side, the other one is the new Rifleman 2C on the clan side. The Rifleman 2C will have to be bought for real cash. You will have to buy the standard mech pack to get that. But let's go into the build for the Marauder 3R first. We're using triple rotary AC2s and 4 medium lasers, combined with a light engine 300, 6 tons of rotary AC2 ammo, and 1 double heatsink. This thing, combined with the skill tree, I'm proposing 103 CT armor, really nice high mounts for the Rack 2s that you can just spin up and just let the enemy eat a hailstorm of bullets, and of course medium lasers that you can use to fend off enemies or shoot them whenever enemies are in ranges below 270 meters. It runs really nice and cool, has really great suppression with the Rack 2s, and of course the Marauder's ability to roll damage by just twisting and wiggling its nose is legendary. So definitely recommend you try this out if you are into Dakar. Now let's check out the Rifleman 2C build. Now I have been debating whether I should show you guys this build or not, because the Rifleman 2C is A, only available for cash, and B, also a specialist mech, I would say, because it is quite flimsy for a heavy mech, but it is a really nice mech if you want to try out long range trading. This is basically a Direwolf Ultraviolet in a heavy version. It just is scaled down by 25% to be exact. Let's have a look at the build. We're running 6 AC2s, a lot of ammo, Clan XL engine 225, and 1 Clan double heatsink because we have to. And that is it. And the way that you play this mech is with enhanced sensors, so you can zoom faster and further, more importantly. You stay at the edge of the battlefield, you try and keep your team between you and the enemy, and you just keep firing at the enemy. You are exposed, and you will do some trading with the enemy, but the key to play this mech is just to keep ducking away at targets of opportunity. And with the range that you have of over 1,000 meters optimal range, you can hit almost anybody on the battlefield. But you gotta have good positioning, and you gotta have some balls, because when you're trying to trade, when you're exposing yourself like that, and when you're ducking away with 6 AC2s, people will notice, and you will see some counterfire coming your way. But the good thing is, you will be able to deal with that, because most of it won't do any damage. LRM range, less than your optimal range for AC2s. LRM range is in the 950s, if not spec'd into range. Your AC2s have 1050 optimal range, so you don't have to worry about that much. What you have to worry about, of course, is always light mechs hunting you down, but that's a different story. So if you're trying to get into long-range ducker, try it out with this mech first before you try to use the Direwolf Ultraviolet, because that thing is an enemy magnet. So we've talked about ducker builds. I've shown you a mid to long range ducker build on the Marauder. I've shown you a long range ducker build on the Rifleman 2C. Let's look into close range. And close range, there is something really, really nice that we can do, and that is the Orion 2C, an amazing clan brawler. And here we have the build on screen right now. Basis for this build is going to be a Clan XL Engine 360. We're running a Clan LB20 and 4 Clan SRM6s with Artemis. These weapons have very similar cooldowns, 3.75 on the missiles, 4 seconds on the LB20. Alpha strike damage is 68, not counting the crit damage that you get from shooting open components with the Clan LB20. It has great mobility for its torso, you can twist around quite quickly, you've got 81 kph speed, you've got really, really good armor values. Look at that CT armor, 113 CT. Very, very tanky and really, really good in rolling damage. And of course, if you don't want to get shot, you probably don't want to run pink tiger stripe camo that I had on there, because I was running Lerms on it before, but yeah, that didn't happen. But yeah, really, really good brawler build. If you're looking to learn brawling, this is one of the best mechs to try out, because it has good speed, good armor, good agility, really good firepower, and you can literally one press its weapons, because they sync up quite nicely, and the ranges are well, not that similar. The LB20 has a little bit more range, about 100 meters more range than your SRM6s, but I would say just get between 270 meters and touching distance, and you can shoot almost everything and kill almost everything, and you have enough armor on this mech and enough structure to survive most situations. Just make sure you don't storm off alone, because that is the one thing that will kill brawlers very, very quickly, being away from the pack. Okay, I've shown you a clan brawler. Let's have a look at an inner sphere brawler, shall we? And yes, I know there's lots of inner sphere brawlers out there, but my sentimental favorite is the Roughneck Powerhouse. That used to be a loyalty mech, but you can acquire him from the mech bay or from the store right now, I think for MC. And it is a really, really good brawling mech, and it also looks very nice with those golden accents. Let's have a look at the build. Light Engine 270 as the basis for this mech, AC20 and 3 SRM6s. We're running case here, we're running 4 tons of SRM ammo and 3 tons of AC20 ammo. This mech goes a total speed of 72 kph and its alpha strike is 58, so a little bit lower than the clan variant, but you gotta keep in mind, guys, this thing is also 10 tons less. Now, why am I recommending this thing? Well, for one, look at that peaking profile. You just have to expose about this much of your mech, which is a third, to be able to shoot all your weapons at the enemy, especially the AC20 up high, Igor style here on your neck. Allows you to hit it very easily on a lot of targets without missing. Has great agility, has great hitboxes. You can use your arms to shield a little bit, that's also fine. And it just handles very, very well. So this is one of my favorite brawling mechs, and we've had lots of games over 1,000 damage with this build. So if you're into brawling and you want to play Inner Sphere, I recommend you give this one a try. Okay, now we've had lasers. We've had brawling, we've had Dakar, and there are other options, of course, out there. There is the Eben Jaguar, There is the Grasshopper M1. There's so many mechs out there, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys with 10,000 different options, so I'm trying to stick to as little options as possible. One option we haven't discussed yet is missiles, specifically MRMs, because MRMs, in my opinion, are one of the best weapon systems for new players. Yes, you have to learn how to properly aim at targets and how to lead targets, but they can help you do so much damage and be motivated to play MWO even further and to learn more weapon systems. And there's two mechs that I want to show you that are really, really good at MRMs. One with ECM and one without. And these are going to be inner sphere mechs because the clans don't have MRMs, they have ATMs, and if you're interested in ATMs, check out my Night Gyre with ATM 48. This thing does 150 damage, alpha close up, but it's more of an expert build because you can do foobar things quite easily. What's an easy build to play though, or relatively easy, is this Thanatos build I'm going to show you guys right now. And here we have that set Thanatos. Well, what's cool about the Thanatos? Well, you guys know the Thanatos is able to use ECM and jump jets. And it's got two MRM40s in the torsos up here. And look how high up these MRM40s are. You only have to expose about 25% of your mech to be able to shoot this. Has a good peaking profile. It's not that fat for a mech, even though it looks pretty boxy. Trust me, it doesn't look like it on the battlefield. And it's nice and tanky and has a lot of options for you to win matches. Running this with double MRM40s, so your alpha strike is going to be 80 damage. We've got plenty of ammo in there, and Guardian ECM, and two jump jets powered by a light engine 300. Really good mech, has served me loyally and truthfully for quite a few games, and this is something where you can also get to 800, 1000 damage and even more easily. Really, really good mech, and due to the ECM, also quite safe. And look at those armor values. Front armor 90 on the side torso, 112 on the CT. Also very, very tanky and quite safe with the light engine 300 here. Of course, you can also XL this, but that's a different story. I wouldn't recommend that to beginners. Well, and then there is the king of heavy mechs. And it's not necessarily that much of a beginner mech because you have to run it with an XL engine to make it shine. It's most amazing build. But I'm going to show it to you. And that mech, and the veterans have already guessed it, that is the Quick Draw IV4. The Quick Draw IV4 hero mech. And this thing is ridiculously powerful. I've made a video about that thing not too far ago. Running double MRM40s, XL 280 engine. We have to use XL engine here because this mech only has 60 tons. This is only a 60 tonner with a firepower of 80. Goes about 80 kph, has two jump jets, plenty of ammo to go around and do your damage. Now, why is the Quick Draw IV4 so good? What is the deal about the IV4? Well, to answer that question real quick, let's go to the store. Let's have a look at our Thanatos from before. And for the Thanatos 5P, let's have a look at the quirks. The quirks are ballistic cooldown, PPC velocity, LRM velocity, armor, and structure. So nothing that really helps our MRMs. Let's have a look at the Quick Draw IV4. The Quick Draw IV4 is quirked for fun. It's one of the few mechs that PGI still has out there that has really, really good quirks that you can actually feel while you're playing that mech. And the other quirks: ballistic cooldown 20%, ballistic velocity 10%. We don't need that, we're running missiles. Energy cooldown, energy range, we don't need that, running missiles. Base armor everywhere, which is insanely good, and then missile cooldown 20%. 20% cooldown on your MRM40s. That is shaving away so much time from the amount of time it needs to recycle to be able to fire again. And that allows you to keep those MRM40 volleys coming time and time again. And you either shoot them in staggered fashion, one side, the other side, if you want to save heat, because you know you have a prolonged engagement and people are not focusing you, or if you want to get your target damage into target quickly, just alpha strike it. It doesn't matter, it's not that much more extra heat. So IV4, a really, really good mech. But as I said, guys, be careful, you're going to have to run this with an XL engine if you want to run this crazy MRM40 build. There's a slightly safer build out there, of course, with MRM30s and a light engine, but if you're running the IV4, you might as well run the best variant of the IV4, and that requires you to play a little bit more risky. So this is one of my not only sentimental favorites, but also one of the variants that you will see being used by experienced players everywhere because it just works, period. Alright guys, so much for all the great theory. Let's take a few of these onto the battlefield and see how they perform. I'll see you there. Well guys, rejoice! It is IV4 time, and this is a really good map to play the IV4 on here, on Mining Collective. And if our teammates play ball, this should be a very fun and enjoyable match. Now we have our jump jets, we have our double MRM-40s, we are XL engines, so we have to be a little bit careful here not to lose our side torso too quickly. But other than that, everything should be fine. And by losing side torso too quickly, of course, I mean that we cannot lose a side torso or else we will be dead, which would be counterproductive to what I'm trying to do here, guys, which is to show you how to play this IV4 quick draw and make use of all the amazing tank capabilities as well as the cooldown on the MRMs. So, I want to jump up here, but I can't jump from here, I think. So what I'm doing is we'll just go around the corner and take the slightly longer way. It's alright, we have enough speed to do so, and we will still be here when our assaults are arriving. And what I'm going to try and do is jump up onto the left-hand flank here. So, oop, there's already an enemy UAV up. Enemy UAV above, Echo 5, take it down please if you can. Okay, yeah, it's looking good so far, it's looking good so far. And we're going to jump up here now. Take the spot and try and hold it. Now this is not a very defensible spot yet, so we have to move a little bit closer here to our dragon body. There's an Irby coming in, which we will sandblast in a second here. Get your asses up top, come on, move, 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 move. Drop the airstrike here to dissuade the enemy a little bit. Assaults, come on, get up here. Enemy assaults, of course, are already here. Enemies are shooting us in the back. Let's go in for the Bloodhound Spear, go to his side torso if we can. There we go, got the one side torso. Now we're gonna go for the other side torso and CT, use our speed here, take him down, very nice. And now we move for Juliet here for the Black Lantern. And the same thing happens as well. Come on teammate, get out of the way please. Will you die? There we go. Whew. Spicy potato, very spicy potato. Our teammates still have not found their way up here. Come on guys, please come to the middle and come up here. Let's jump up here for a sec, see what we can find. We find enemy Kodiak that we shoot in the face and drop down. There's only one Kodiak up here. Let's see what we can do on this side here. Maybe get a target. Nope. Okay, fall back into cover. Jump up again, see if we can find the Kodiak again. There he is. Unfortunately, I can't really hit him from here. Foxtrot is coming up, the Vapor Eagle, so let's go ahead and assist our teammate here as much as we can. Side torso is damaged and he's down. There's the Kodiak. Kodiak city open. Gonna go for an alpha strike here. And take him down. Beautiful. Unfortunately not before he took down my teammate, but that's alright. That cannot be helped here. Our assault just died down below, alone because it didn't push. There's a grasshopper here and some other targets I can't really deal with, at least not in a good way. He's got a UAC 10, I need to be careful. Also, alpha up top here. Give him a double salvo. Oh no, he's very, very fresh unfortunately. And I need to cool down here, so I'm gonna go single fire here, if I have to. Let's go for the grasshopper. Bring down Charlie first. Let's see if we can get him. Down the corner here, jump up, keep flying, go for the Timberwolf. There's a Victor coming in now. Bravo Victor, side torso. He might be XL. Let's see if we can get the side torso of that Victor. Yeah, he's shielding. Teammate is also shielding him from death. Luckily enough we were able to take him out, but again, teammates blocking is one of the worst things that can happen to you. Just trying to twist now, while still getting some shots in, and we finally fall, unfortunately. But hey, guys, we had a good round. Spatial awareness is very important when you're playing Mechwarrior Online. Your mech is bigger than the thing that you see in your cockpit, so try and be aware of that, and do not block your teammates if possible. Okay, so we still have a Locust Pirate's Bane engaging the enemy. We also have a Crab engaging the enemy, going full zombie mode. He might be able to get his side torso here if he gets one more shot off. Come on, dude. I believe. Crab. No. Crap didn't work out. Well, we just have the Pirate's Bane running around right now, and that is going to be it. And the Pirate's Bane might be able to get one more shot off onto the enemy Timberwolf if he can find it, but he might as well just die here in a sec here, because that Stormcrow is boating ER micros and he's not gonna be denied, I think. Still alive? Okay, we're still running. We're going for lap 20,000. Little stealth armor Pirate's Bane with 4 ER mediums, a very spicy little thing. And The only thing that he can do here is he can try and pull the enemy team apart a little bit and then go for pot shots and whatnot, but realistically speaking he has no chance of winning this because he's one lick of lasers away from death, and if they see him he's done for. That's even Jack. He's still pretty healthy on the front, so there is the lick. Almost killed him, so again guys. Oh. Hello and bye bye. That's it. Told ya. Alright guys, 7 kills under 12, the final score, but whether we won or not doesn't matter here. What we wanted to do is showcase what the Quick Draw IV4 can do, and now imagine if your teammates aren't as timid to take the top, which for some reason always the guys on my team are, never the enemy team, but maybe that's just, I don't know. Doesn't matter. 4 killing blows, 3 assists, 4 solo kills. All my kills were solo kills. 4 KMDDs, 1044 damage done, 8 components taken out. Well, I would say that we definitely were the king of the hill here. On the enemy team, the Kodiak did a lot of work, 1100 damage, holding the top against my teammates. There was a guy who actually killed my Cyclops. So yeah, but as you can see, if you don't take top, if you don't fight, you don't do damage. But if you're playing the IV4, you know that you've got a good machine on your hands, so you will fight and you will do damage. You will do damage. Thanks for watching guys, and if you enjoy this content, check out my Patreon page, become an active member and supporter of Team TTB. Alrighty guys, Hellbringer time here on the Canyon Network. Let's go ahead and get our mech buttocks as quickly as possible to Delta 4 Charlie 4. I don't know what our assaults are doing here. They are going to opt for the very safe but very interesting push over the hill here. Let's see if we can go ahead and catch somebody off guard in Charlie 4 on top. Problem is, of course, going to be that I might be alone here, so we'll see. But now there's quite a few missiles flying this way. I want to try and get a shot into target here if at all possible. Yep, we're pushing. We are so pushing, but I have to look over to this side now, onto that linebacker or whatever that was. Oh, hello, kitty. There we go. That's a Panther. And that's an Alpha Strike. Alright, Charlie out the open alone. Give him a nice burn onto his CT and side torso, and this should dissuade him. Actually, the Panther's still here. Come on. Please, please, please walk backwards, dude. Please walk backwards. Ah, okay, he doesn't want to walk backwards anymore. Alright. Drop the artillery strike here over at that corner, and then we push in. India Direwolf down below. Let's see if we can reinforce our teammates here. There is the Panther again. Alpha Strike and rip. He was feeling way too safe over there, and that's what killed him. Let's go around the corner here onto that Banshee. Delta CT. Banshee. Direwolf down below with him, and something else on Seismic.
New target acquired.
It's a Hellfire that's with him, alright. Bring down Indigo, guys. The Direwolf is a free kill. This Banshee is getting annoying, so I'm gonna counter-fire him a little bit. And then now we're gonna go ahead and drop down and go onto the Direwolf. Side torso, Alpha Strike, and get the kill. Push Kilo, Hellfire. CT, one touch. And Delta CT, Banshee. Let's go ahead and push him with our teammates here. See if we can get a good shot off. Nope, we can't because we're getting blocked. Getting blocked again, and both shots were actually thrown off, so I didn't get the kill here. Onto the Hellfire. Teammates playing ping pong with me, unfortunately. Let's go on Delta. Have a nice burn. Teammates take him down because he was very damaged. Good. Now we can go push in on Bravo, Trebuchet. Take down Bravo, he's alone in the middle.
New target acquired.
Let's see what do we have here. That's a Summoner. Oh, Summoners are nice. Let's give him a nice burn. Use a cool shot. And keep the push going as much as we can. There we go. Another Alpha Strike onto the Summoner. Careful not to hit my teammate here, which is a little bit difficult, but that's alright. I'm gonna push around the corner here. And potentially down below onto Foxtrot because he's got a Brawler build. His side torso is open. We take away his side torso, and then we take away the rest of his life as soon as we can. There we go. Boom. And rip. Now we can walk backwards. Aim onto the Summoner, but walk backwards. So if he shows, we're going to punish him. Come on. Teammate in my ass, of course, because they thought it was a good place to stand here. Okay, that's alright. We'll keep walking backwards. Keep walking backwards and keep anticipating him, pushing forward. Okay, we need to be careful now. This is closer as it needs to be.
Acquired.
So any quick draw. Hotel quick draw, CT. Oh, there's some assault mech coming from below. We need to get out of here fast. Maybe we can get some more damage in. Nope, teammate is shielding him with his ass, so we can't do anything about that. Assault down below on the ramp. Be careful. Can we go anything against that Piranha? Lima is legged. Piranha. Free kill. Free kill. Take that kill. There we go. Now we push in on hotel. Okay, he's down. The assault seems to be done as well. 2 targets left, guys. Stick together.
Target spotted.
Okay, what do we have here? That's the trebuchet from before. Give him a nice burn. Again, I have a teammate in my back. These guys have a fetish of doing that for some reason. Let's go on that leg of that linebreaker. I missed my shot a little bit. It's a cool shot. Let's go for legs now. So many teammates around him. So careful not to hit them here. Bravo here. That's a long stay in the air. There's still one more guy alive, and that's probably the summoner from before. Exactly that, as advertised. Take away his side throw, so he's got one heavy large laser at this point, which means he's got nothing left, and he's also cooking himself. So this should be one. Bada boom!
Target acquired.
Last guy Echo, city to kill.
Target destroyed.
And rip. He overheated himself and killed himself. 12 kills over 8 final score. GTB getting ass blocked quite a bit, but you know what? At least we were able to have a somewhat good match. Okay, here is the scoreboard. 4 killing blows, 7 assists, 1 solo kill, 3 KMDDs, 733 damage done with 10 components taken out. Especially that Alpha Strike kill on that light mech was beautiful and just showcases you the power of this mech. Pinpoint accuracy, striking where the enemy is unaware, and if you can use that to good results, well, then you're gonna get a lot of kills with this thing and you're gonna have a lot of fun with this Hellbringer. Guys, if you like this content and you would like to support me, then go ahead, check out my Patreon page, become an active member of Team TTB.